Ladies and gentlemen, our upcoming session will take us deeper into the real-world dimensions of PR. This session will focus on importance and challenges of public relations and crisis communication before PSU, especially in the power sector.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our next distinguished speaker, Dr. Snehasis Sur, Senior Journalist and Media Academic and President, Press Club, Kolkata, as well as Additional Director General, Retired, Doordarshan. May I please have on stage Dr. Snehasis Sur, an iconic journalist and the recipient of multiple awards in the field of journalism. Sir has been teaching for decades in prestigious institutions such as University of Calcutta, Jadavpur University, Vishwabharati University, and the Indian Institute of Mass Communication. He has also authored many books and published multiple papers. May I request Sir to kindly take us forward.
Good afternoon to one and all. Most respected Mr. Chairman of DVC and all other divisions and the stalwarts of public relations fraternity. It is a great pleasure and privilege to be able to share my thoughts in this august gathering. But before that, I must commend the Honorable Chairman and all others for organizing such a communication conclave. You see, DVC is a power sector organization, but when it extends, nobody knows the generation and distribution company, only generation and transmission company. People are aware of the distribution company. But here, extending from its own sector, one of the most important sector of the today's corporate is communication. And I'm grateful to Sir and all others for having such a great, for organizing a purely conversation platform on a core subject like public relations. I will have my time and I will try to stick to it. See, I'll try to highlight from my little experience of over 4 decades. As a unique case, I have worked in the government, I have worked as a journalist, and I have a training in public relations, and actually public relations was my first love, but for average Bengali youth, the first love does not mature, and it happened, and I went to journalism, and I stared at public relations throughout my life, and whenever I can, I try to come to my first crush. On public relations and crisis communication, especially on PSUs and power sectors. You see, this is something which all know. I need not repeat. A good supply of raw material, good production flow, good marketing chain, good demand does not necessarily ensure good health of the organization. This we have understood by now, and that's why we are here today. We require a good public relations, internal and external both. Since yesterday, so many people were talking about the ownership of the employees about the organization, which is very, very important. Internal public relations and external public relations, which takes care of the image of the organization. So, this is an essential. As we all know, it is very difficult to create an image over years, but it takes a minute to tarnish if it is not handled properly and carefully. This is something which we all need to understand. We need to do some image building exercises, and we need to highlight some good things. It's in the PR language, it's 90% doing good, but 10% saying about it. But this 10% icing of the cake is very, very important, and it has to go to the people. And your organization is not directly related to people. You have high-end consumers, but ultimately you are an organization, you have your plants across the country, you have a community, you have people, you need to have people, and especially people from Eastern India should feel proud of DVC, that what DVC is doing for us. The media relations should be such that they come to you before reporting adverse for comment, and you have to give your own version. Now, this is a pre-oriented media or relations that you have to maintain. This is a prerequisite that if something happens, before they write something, before they publish, before they air something, they would come to you for a check, and if you can timely give your take about it, they will have to carry. That is the ethical journalism. So you have to have a relationship with the journalists of the country, of the states where you operate, and especially those who deal with power sector. So before that, they should give you a call and ask you, so that you get to know what is coming out, and you will get a breathing time to give your version, your take, and that will be carried on the other side's version. This is very important, of having known the journalists who matter. Now, what are the challenges? You have general newspapers and media, you have economic newspapers and periodicals who deal with much more on power sector, but various other intricate issues of power. It attracts attention of the key people. You see, there are a lot of people who read newspapers in the morning, though the number is decreasing. But what they see in print about your organization, which matters, because the people we are talking about, they matter. Now, there may be some incorrect interpretations, because, it happens. Can be helpful to others, whatever it comes, it can be helpful to others, that incorrect information, that they can carry it forward. It can divulge the trade secret, problems between intergovernment agencies. Now, this is the most important problem of the PSUs. The relations between intergovernment agencies. You cannot say something what you should, what you ought to be. But then what to do? You have to do it in a subtle. You have to have your version spread across, but not directly. PSUs have limitations. I do not go into the details. You can give a rejoinder, plan for a counter story in same media or in other media. You can have proactive media releases, good relations with reporters who cover energy beat, which I have already said. Keep track on the information of flow of power ministry and others. You see, a journalist is hungry for information. Whereas you follow, a lot of information come to you from the power sector and from various other corporations and intergovernment organizations, maybe ADB, World Bank. There are a lot of power sector reforms and new tenders, new projects, new versions. So if you can, direct those information to the media, the journalists will be grateful to you. People think that journalists prefer to be treated well. I do not want to comment on that, but a journalist is happier if you give the seed of a good story, because you have information which I actually don't have. I may be a generalist. So what I seek from you, that this is a document, maybe an ADB document on power sector reforms, maybe a World Bank document on power sector reforms, which has come out, is in public domain. I have not accessed. So I may be asked to access. So that kind of handholding is very important. The challenges from general newspapers and periodicals create more problems at the state and local level, because the visibility is much. If something adverse comes out, it may create problem in the community. You have to think of a three-tier system. You are a intergovernment organization. You have to have a presence in the country headquarters. You have to have a presence in all the state headquarters, and you have to have your PR presence in the plant level, which deals with the community directly. Now, sometimes some information related to you can aggravate law and order situation also, because information may be such fiercing. Make issues like land acquisition more vulnerable, because the power plant always has to have some kind of a land issues, and you have to deal with it. Land is a major issue in our country. Now, there can be technically incorrect reporting. Now, this can be. You cannot prevent them. You have to understand. But what you can do to take care of this challenge? Good contacts with local reporters as well as state level functionaries. Now, this is very important, that there must be a plant level liaison with the community journalists, the local journalists, who they are, how educated they are, how professionally capable they are. You are an IITian, but he may be nobody. But he has these days nothing but this. And you know, even if you are not aware, he can record something, he can share it in some odd groups, the video can be picked up from there, it can go to the media group of the state, it can media group of the national. This is the reality. They are the ground persons. Who they are, should not be the lookout of the other side. But this is a reality that they exist. So a plant level relation with the local reporters is a must, because it may so happen that you have been in the plant till 8 o'clock, after that you came back and you had dinner and slept, and 7 o'clock when you are having breakfast, you get a call from headquarters, hey, what has happened in your plant? You might have not known. It has happened after 8 o'clock, it has been carried, somebody has clicked it, somebody has taken it, and it's being flashed in the morning breakfast news. And your superiors are watching breakfast news, and then they call you. This has become the reality. This is the loop. We have to understand, we have to fight it. Good contacts with the local administration, police and leaders, that community relations you know, and arrange familiarization visits of national, regional and local journalists covering power. This is something which is very important. I'll come to this at a later stage when I will discuss something very specific. Now, what are the challenges from the visual media? There can be wrong visuals. They are talking about some problem in some other power plant, and they are showing some DVC power plants with the big board of DVC, where DVC has nothing to do. So you have to be aware, you have to check it, you have to contact the correct person, you have to get the redone. Instant coverage, it goes on air even before you know, which I have explained just now. The news item may have nothing to do with you, but incident happened in front of your plant, and the shot of the plant may be coming on air repeatedly. This happens, that in case in front of the main gate, 2 people fought and something happened. Everybody shot, and you know the board of the organization is there, and people may be thinking that your organization has something to do. So this awareness is very important. Now, must know local, state level and people who matter and can contact immediately. This journalist, there must be a journalist list so that you can contact immediately who's who. If it is at the national level, corporate office can handle. Keep good relations with the local representatives, as he or she is at the base of the pyramid. This is what I have explained. Positive news coverage, you can do it. There are a lot of things happening in the plant and the headquarters, and you have to package it in a different way. It's not the blood donation, they will not come. You might be giving bloods every year, hundreds. But you have to package it in a different manner. That packaging is very important, and that is public relations. The proactive coverage and arrange bites, sound bites and recordings and things like that. Anybody, the challenges from the media, social media. Now this is the new problem. Anybody, your disgruntled staff and relatives can write anything that will go viral. Hundreds of likes even by those who do not understand, have nothing to do with power sector, neither your consumer, not anywhere related. They can give right and they can comment on this. The acquisitions are mostly false and based on half-truth. Comments are even more dangerous. But this happens. You must have a social policy. I'm sorry, I'm not aware of that, whether you have a proper social media policy. Social media sells at all levels. At Ma'am was saying that the new frontier has been opened and you have to be guarded in the new frontier, and you will not get the breathing time after it happens, then you start thinking. So you must have a check that what is coming. Monitoring social media, as I was telling, combating the slender in social media, you have to have a policy, you have to have people, you have to monitor, and you have to have a SOP that in that case what is to be done. Proactive presence in social media, that what you have done, you have to, that 10% saying about it. This 10% is very important. This unique conclave has taken place. But what are the media visibility? We have to think, and after that, you can do that. Retweeting relevant messages, and now The employees are required to retweet as by mandate, so whether you can go it or not. Now we talk about the crisis communication, mainly in the plant level, and we explain crisis communication in one way, that when you don't want media to come, but media wants to come. That's the most crucial point, crucial situation for anyone. The more in plant level, different than planned programs where you have many to guide, like in the headquarters, you have many seniors, juniors, colleagues, they get together and decide. Clearly you get a green signal. But at the plant level, you don't have this breathing time. No reaction time during the crisis, you have to do the instant action. Better to go to media first before they come. It adds credibility, you have to come out to the media. Otherwise, it will be there in the media. You cannot, media has now become omnipresent. So your presence with whatever you can say is very important. Whatever adverse is being communicated, presented in the media, at least your version should be there, and that is very important. Prepare and standard operating protocol procedure, who does what during that crisis period, how media will be handled. Now, what is a crisis? Everybody knows, an unexpected and detrimental situation. I do not want to explain. The respond quickly, efficiently, effectively in a planned manner. The planning has to be in advance. Twofold action as a preparation, detailed crisis communication plan, and response, take immediate steps to control messages. Control message is very important in the social media sector. How do you control? Messages will be there, but it is your duty to control that. Control means you cannot stop them coming in the media. How do you react? How your messages also should be there along with the others. Now, aim is to regain public trust. The crisis is always which is detrimental to public trust. 5 C's of crisis management: concern, commitment, competency, clarity, and confidence. This I need not explain. 7 points of crisis management: situational awareness, improvisation, creativity and adaptability, decisiveness, action, communication, revaluation. Now, crisis communication, carry out multi-channel communication. As ma'am has said, it's not a single channel that you brief the local media, that means print and TV and radio. There are other people also. So in the social media sector, in the electronic media, in the print, their priorities are different, requirements are different. Be readily accessible to the media. Now, this is what happens, that when a crisis occurs, now there is no face of the organization. So whatever has happened, it's an organization. There have been issues, there have been happenings, there have been accidents. You can't help it. But somebody should have the courage to come out to discuss exactly what has happened. Show empathy for the people involved, especially for the affected people. Designate official spokespersons, 1 or 2. Involve internal experts. If it is issues with a technical, then you can ask your member technical and others to explain, not the PRO, not the spokesperson. And if it is a financial matter, obviously the financial person can come in. Organize regular media briefings. You see, you cannot hide yourself. You have to do it formally or informally. There are issues when you cannot do formally. I mean, sir is aware most, much more than being the senior most bureaucrat of the country today. He is much aware of all these things than any one of us. So the principle is tell it all, tell it fast, tell the truth. Never be speculative. You know, something has happened. Let the report come. There has been incidents. One is recent past. When the Majerat Bridge collapsed, many people thought that hundreds will die. Actually, on that day, 1 person died at the spot. And one fortnight later, another person died in SSKM hospital. There were 2 casualties when a busiest bridge just collapsed. So you cannot speculate. Step back and think about your customers. Consider how the crisis may be affecting them. Own the crisis. Apologize, apologize, apologize. If it happens, tell it, this has happened for this. Do the right thing. Move on. Once resolved, let it go and move on. Rebuild your brand's image. Now, rebuilding the brand image is very, very important. I would like to, at the end, I would like to discuss on strategic communication, which is most important for the PSUs. Being an intergovernmental organization, you have to have intergovernmental relations, you have to cater to parliament, you have to cater to assembly, you have to cater to the government at the state, at the center. And you have to do it subtly. If it is in tandem with what your brief is, then it's fine. If it is contrary, then you cannot do it openly because you are a PSU, your hands are tied. Crucial and indirect way of communication. Maybe you hold an annual press conference and say about your generation, your distribution, your install capacity increase, your just transition, your ash removal, etc., etc., and then suddenly you put whatever you do it. One-on-one media interview, the people who cover power, sharing facts and data with the media in anonymity. I do not want to disclose, my time is also not there, but if there is a quantum of any figure, if it is power generation, we used to have it very importantly when the age of load shedding, but if it is the quantum of release of water, then what is the principle and what is the exact quantity? You can share it with anonymity. Conduct press party visits. You can show them the facility that this is the control room which decides the release of water and where the representatives of all the constituent states and the center are present there. So everything, once the reporter is aware, then it is there in his mind. So since you are educating on public relations and corporate communications, I would request you to do workshops for the reporters on power sectors. Media orientation that I was saying, planned, sustained and deliberate media relations, it cannot be done on a single-handedly, I mean on a once in a while program, constant touch with the media to know who's who, to know who are covering power in each sector. Thank you very much. It's 0000. I'm a broadcaster. You give me 2 hours, I'll speak. You give me 20 minutes. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And sir, I'm grateful to you for creating this capacity for all of us to learn, because communication is the order of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. May I now request respected ED project PLSS Chaitanya Prakash to please come to the stage to felicitate our esteemed speaker. A big round of applause from the audience as ED project felicitates our esteemed speaker, Dr. Snehasis Sur.